and welcome. Today we're talking about the Job Finder Plus program. There's a lot of talk out there in Australia about how we get a migrant, a good quality migrant to Australia, and it's not so easy these days. Migration is changing. It's a rapid change. Currently, right now, we're mid-year, June, going into 2010. Anybody who's watching this will be fully aware that migration is in the mid-change, and it's focusing on jobs. Australia's changing. It's going to be looking at jobs first, and you actually get there via migration. So one of the things is that all the good things and the bad things we hear about migration, if you're serious about migration, I would recommend highly that you get into the migration process now. It's only going to get harder. We can't read the crystal ball, no one does, but we do have the indicators of what's going on. So at Thinking Australia, we've developed this thing over the last couple of years called the Job Finder Plus. It's an affordable entry level into what I call migration via the job route, and it's very important. And today I've got with me Cameron, and Cameron Russell from our office has been working on this part of our program for some time and pretty well got it nailed.
Yep, it's going great. How you going?
Welcome, Cameron. Nice young man. Okay, the thing about jobs in Australia, I mean, the big thing now is, of course, a lot of people don't really understand is the fact that if you're here in the UK, you can pick up Seek, or you can have a look at Monster, or you can give the guy a call.
Yeah.
But we do have a problem, and the problem to me has always been, people don't understand, is that middleman.
How do they get to Australia, basically?
That's it. That's called migration. So no matter what people do or think, they can look for jobs on the internet, and if you currently look at Seek at the moment and scroll down right to the bottom, it'll tell you, do you have your ATN number, Australian tax number, or do you have your migration in order?
They're interested in people that are on the ground already in Australia. They don't cater for the migrant. Good
boy, he's got it nailed it right down. So plenty of jobs in Australia.
More jobs than Australians, they say at the moment, and 1,000 jobs a day shortage. So jobs are out there. It's just a difficulty of how do you get yourself to Australia, and that's basically where the Job Finder is important if you're looking to get to Australia quickly, cheaply and easily.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's employer-sponsored, isn't it? Visas. This is the way forward. Right now, and it will change, by the way, but right now the 175, 176 and the 475 are on hold. Well, that'll change, but it's only due to the fact that
they're really restricting that program, though, as well, Darrell.
Yeah, it's all changed, mid-change. But what not going to change is the demand for key skilled workers. And I think so the employer-sponsored visas, so you've got some great options in there.
There are. There's in fact 3 options. One that you can use Australia-wide, and 2 you can use Australia-wide, 1 for regional areas. And there's big concessions if you're looking to get outside the capital cities, which is where all the work is. Top paying jobs there as well. Well,
I think another misconception in this country, mate, when you say we're going to take it to a regional area.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not so. I mean, some of these, if you're going to go to Sydney, what we call the RSMS won't apply. But if you go out on a 457 visa, it does apply. So you can get into Australia anywhere. It covers any city, any major city. But if you're going to work in a regional area, which we do recommend, some fantastic
God's
places.
Country, you call it.
Thank you. Yeah, I call it God's own country. God was born in some of these places, and certainly holidays and the rest. But it's some fantastic places there for employment. And of course, the mining sector is driven out in these what we call regional areas. They're the biggest employer in Australia. Massive driving force there. So yes, if you're serious, if you're an engineer, or if you're a construction worker, a carpenter, or a welder.
Anything driving mining as well.
Anything driving mining, well done. Anything driving mining. Okay, so you know the employer. What's the advantage about having an employer really come out of the UK? I mean, it's got to be quick, I guess.
Having an employee move to Australia. Advantage for Australian employers is basically they need people there quickly, and the Australian government is encouraging people to use the employer-sponsored visas. Advantage is UK workers are extremely loyal, highly skilled and dedicated, and that's what Australian employers are looking for.
Absolutely. I think the great thing what I love about this Job Finder Plus program you've got is that I mean, if anyone's serious, if you're a carpenter or a bricklayer or a plumber and you're in the migration process itself right now, and you've been told it's going to be 2013, would you believe you could be in Australia in 12 weeks thereabouts, give or take? It's as quick as we can get the paperwork together, as you get it together, as quick as the employer puts it together, your dream could be 12 weeks. So is that good? on the Job Finder Plus program. Okay, we've got the problems. What are the problems?
Employers do not know about migration. They know as much as you do as far as the employer-sponsored visas. That's why you need to consider having a migration company behind you. For example, Thinking Australia, we've got our head office in Australia. They can get on the phone to employers, communicate to them, educate them about the process, get over the barriers, and effectively convince them to sponsor you.
That's going back to when we first started off. It's that middleman. People don't understand. There's jobs are out there. The sponsors are there. We've got two problems. For most companies in Australia, they don't really understand the migration at all, let alone the sponsorship program.
I'll just jump in. Many employers don't understand that they can actually sponsor you into Australia. It's a lot of misconceptions that you have to be a big mining company, employ thousands of people. Not the case.
Absolutely. We got a case right now. There's a guy up in Kansas who's taking one of our clients out to Australia, and he's just a one-man show. So it can be, as long as your business is straight and you're genuine, you've got a genuine need for a key worker, you're fine. So the problem is that you've got to educate the employer in Australia, so we communicate with them to the employer and all those things. But okay, so what's the resolve to this? I mean, what's your resolve?
The resolve
is the Job Finder Plus program.
It is the Job Finder Plus, and the reason it works is because we're so proactive in getting to the employers, educating them about the process, and the Job Finder Plus service we offer, it's like your Seek, like your Monster, but it takes it to the next level. It incorporates migration and the employer sponsorships into it, and at the end of the day, it's extremely, as I said earlier, cheap, quick and efficient for employers to get you out there. And
well, I think it puts a middleman back in the game, i.e. migration, and takes the worry out of the employee and the employer. That's what I like about it.
I mean, handle the paperwork and
do all the dirty work.
I
think it's brilliant. And the other thing which I really, really do like about the Job Finder Plus program is that we say to people, you do not pack your bags. You do not say to your boss, stick your job until this thing is nailed. So what we do, we negotiate on behalf of yourself,
make sure
potential.
Make sure it's going to be a good job for the employee. We don't want to send you out there if you're going to be treated, poorly. So.
Well, I think the great thing about the sponsorship program is the fact the government has got this right. It protects you, the worker, first and foremost. If the employer doesn't get it right, it's going to be penalised very heavily. So it's our job to actually make sure that when we're negotiating on your behalf, and this is the important part, we negotiate. Once we go through all the checklist of ticks of compliance, if you like, to the sponsorship program, it's at that point we then come back to you as the employee candidate for the job and say, yes, it's been approved, they're fine. And that's when you move forward. You don't move forward until we say yes. And that's the big difference. A lot of people, believe it or not, jump on planes, fly up, they've been talking to an employer in Australia, get there, sold up, move their family, children, and to find out that the visa's not, there's no visa.
We find a lot of people get out there to...
staggering.
They get out there to find the jobs, knocking on employers' doors. It's the best way to do it, but if you don't have your migration in order, for example, before you go, the employer's going to say, great, we've got a job, when can you start? What do you do?
So we secure the sponsorship. Very important, Cameron, to secure that sponsorship so it's beyond any doubt. It's migration that's going to stop. It's that middleman. So once we make sure migration is complied with, then the job will be activated. And that's it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah. Basically.
Yes. Sorry, mate. I just get so wound up here, because I think it's the best thing you've come up with. This young man's worked very, very hard to get this thing right, and it's an absolute wonderful tool.
It's all about helping people get to Australia, basically, and the way migration's changing. If you want to get there quickly, as the general skilled migration program, 2 or 3 year process, as you said, under 12 weeks to get to Australia on employer sponsorship.
And look, another question, mate, is here that people say if you're a 1-7, most people say I'm a skilled worker. That's fine. But it's a permanent visa on arrival, all these sort of misconceptions. The sponsored visas, would you believe it, an employer nomination scheme or the RSMS, are permanent. They are actually permanent and can be quicker.
And you know you've got a job when you get there. You know what it's going to pay, where it is.
Unbelievable.
You can plan your life, basically. You know it's going to work.
Absolutely. So I think the Job Finder Plus program is one wonderful thing. And one thing I do like about what you do, Cameron, is you give these 1-hour appointments to explain to people, and we're all over the country. I think we're in London next week, we're in Birmingham, Glasgow, all around the country doing these things, of course, for people on these free 1-hour appointments. Are you finding people are beginning to sort of want this new direction? Is this the way forward? I see it the way forward. Are you seeing that move?
It's definitely the way forward.
Yeah.
At the moment, the biggest problem is it's the media, and there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and all the wrong ideas. And we get people coming to these 1-hour meetings that we do, putting forward what they've heard, and a lot of the time it's completely wrong. They've gone to migration shows, forums are a big problem. It's all opinionated.
Misinformation. I think on that point there's something that I always say, there are no two thumbprints the same. Remember this, guys, there are no two thumbprints the same. And certainly there's no two migration plans the same. And that's something that's very different. This is where the chat forums are a problem. There's some really good people out there, don't get me wrong. They mean well, absolutely mean well. So we have what we call a helpline. If you go to thinkingaustralia.com, we have a genuine helpline. It's free. We have migration experts, we have taxation experts, we have property experts, we have right across the board. They're all there, and it's free. Post in your question. You're going to get it from the horse's mouth, not from the horse's rear end. That's pretty simple as that. But I think the wonderful thing about the Job Finder Plus program, it's an affordable entry, a safe, absolutely safe way of looking at migration. It's a perfect tool where we're going to fully assess you prior to that, to arrival into Australia. Once you're there, you've got the job, been pre-assessed, all done and dusted. All you need to do then is just arrive. What a wonderful start to your new life in Australia.
To the dream.
To the dream. Good on you, Cameron, to the dream.
But that's what it is.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, again, I talk to people at my shows, and people out there understand this, that the dream, mate, can be one of two things. One, if it can become the reality, which this is what this is all about, making sure it's a reality.
Helping the migrant.
Absolutely.
We ask the question, are you serious about going to Australia? And if that's the case, we'll go to work for you.
Otherwise, it will become a nightmare. So you've got to get it right, folks. And I think Job Finder Plus, give us a call on 0845 850 4040, www.thinkingaustralia.com. Happy to talk to you. Give Cameron a call. Love to hear from him. Well, thanks, Camo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darrell.
Cheers, my friend.